This is awkward. Let's go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Crypto and Coffee, where we talk about crypto and drink some coffee, and also talk about coffee. Who knows? I am the real data lord. This is Jaime,
Good morning, everyone.
our lovely co-host, who's smart as a whip. It's Friday, so welcome everyone to Fried Egg. It is Fried Egg.
Let's get in there. Let's go deep.
What the hell's happening with Bitcoin? Some people might be asking. I'm also asking the same question, but I think I have some answers. So does Jaime. I do want us to look at the markets. This is what we usually do, by the way. We go over what the markets look like, let you know what we're thinking about general trading, and then we get into news stories. So if you would, go ahead and say what's up in the chat. We're always looking to just show some love to the community, give some shout outs. So
good morning, everyone.
Looking at the markets, whoop-ah! Right? Am I right, whoop-ah?
That's right.
What up? So looks like from a tight view, we're actually not as high as we were in the overall markets a few days ago. So, the 13th was actually the highest point for the general market cap. And I know it might not feel that way because Bitcoin's itself at a pretty high point right now, but this is what the 24-hour looks like, and this is what the 7-day looks like. So cool thing is we are seeing more money in the space, but I'm seeing, even though the Bitcoin price is going up, the market cap itself isn't rolling up. So what that means is people are moving altcoin value into Bitcoin. And so looking at Bitcoin, 7.5%, ain't that purty. And in the last week, it's up 30%. So shout outs to Bitcoin for keeping her moving, bud. But
let's go corn.
Yeah, Bitcoin. Cone! Can't imagine him a wonderful thing.
That's right.
It's right. It's cone. So Ethereum, again, it likes to copy Bitcoin, and we're seeing, and apparently
there you go. Oops.
Jaime, are you clicking on things? Did you click on something?
I was trying to help you, bro.
When helping is hurting. It's a great book. What's up, everyone? Good morning. And it looks like altcoins are actually kind of having a day. People took profits out of Bitcoin and are stuffing them into some alts, seeing if they can't cause a little pump to go on. So not sure what that's about. But that normally happens. Whenever Bitcoin has some serious green days, people take those profits, they roll them into their favorite altcoin, and you'll usually see an altcoin green day as well. And
which we do have.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin led it, and now the alts are following.
Yep. And so that's not something that we've seen in quite a while. We haven't had some serious altcoin green days across the board in a while. So it's cool. Does that mean we're in a bull market yet?
Not yet. Not yet.
Probably not.
We're still within ranges. We've been speaking about this since the end of January of a channel we're still in. We dropped out of it once, this one time, and here you can see it. We are on the daily chart. So as we've been mentioning since January, ever since we started seeing these tops align, we just drew this ascending channel. This ascending channel, I capped it at that massive weekly resistance. Let me zoom out just so you have an idea. We have this level here. We've tested it once, twice, 3, 4, 5, drug along, and then finally broke down. So this is a very, very, very important level that we are watching as a group. If you notice previously on the previous ascending channel, when we finally dropped out, that's when we hit the new lows. Ascending channels, unless you see fuel pumping it to where they can break above, usually break down. Now, in the case of what we've seen recently, please take a look at this. So you see the price, of course, dropped out, tested, this is bullish, by the way, guys. This test down here was bullish. Remember, I missed it by $59. And this retest, now we're back inside that ascending channel, and we're at the top of the channel. So what's that rule again? As always, do not long at resistance. We are in that area right now. So we broke above the 50 moving average on the daily. We tested, this is bullish right here, the fact that we tested the 200 moving average as support, and now it flung us right up to the top of that ascending channel. We're quickly reaching that resistance, that red zone that sits at around $28,000. We have to be careful at this point. If we break through and test as support, to me, for my own reasons, you do your own research, I would say we are now in a bullish trend. Until we break that, I'm not going to celebrate just yet. But this is great. It shows strength. And we're going to look at the details of the markets afterwards with the news. But stay calm, huddle on, do your usual dollar cost averaging. And until this is proven otherwise, do not go long, at least not at this very moment. It's too risky. I would look for a retest of the 50 moving average. Worst case scenario, retest of the 200, and so on and so forth. But let's move up time frame. Let's move up to the this is the weekly. Yes. So here we go. On the weekly, I just removed all other indicators. Now look at what's transpired. We had the death cross, came down, retested that 200 moving average on the daily, and look, it created a beautiful doji flat. What the hell?
Doji doggy doggy.
Yeah, something. Well, this is a bullish formation. Green is ideal. Red is a very close, good one, and ran it up. We broke the 200 weekly moving average. We have 2 days, meaning by Sunday evening, if this this candle, green candle, closes above the 200 moving average, and then next week we come and test that support, do not break back down 25,000. That is bullish, guys. That means we're good. We are now at support, and we can look up. We can look up and see where the next stops are. Of course, it is the $28,000 level that we are looking at for that support. And now let's move. So again, let me clean up what I just said. By Sunday, if we close above the 200 weekly moving average, which sits at around 25,300, 25.5, let's round it up, 25.5. If we close above it, that's a bullish sign. Now we just watch the following week for confirmation, and we're off to the races. So do not long until we get these confirmations. Now let's move on to the monthly.
For
more
sure.
or less. We have that same level, that 28,980, that red hand I put up there. It's been up there for a while. We tested this down here as support. We crossed the 50. Now we're racing up to that same level. This is a critical level. On the monthly level, you can see why, because there are those retests and final breakdown. If we break above this by 14 days from now and close above here, whoa, fireworks are coming, guys. So it's exciting times. We just have to watch it. Of course, my greedy side is please come back down. Don't go too fast. Come down or retest these other areas so I can regain my entry. But
Yeah.
we cannot will the market to do what it's going to do. Just watch this zone we're in now. We are testing the top of that channel. The more likely scenario is we come down and retest the bottom, just as we've been doing in the past. The big question is, will we break down and retest the 50 as support, and then finally do that one final push to break through by the end of the month? Or do we continue down? It remains to be seen. So let's watch it. This weekend's going to be pretty exciting. Sunday is going to tell all as to what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks, meaning if we close above 25.5, guys, Monday will be exciting. If we close below, So if we come back down to 25,000, let's say 25,000 even, that's not a good bullish sign at that moment. That means we just retested the 200 moving average as resistance. And we're going to have a long tail here if we come back down to 25 or even come below 25. So keep that in mind. By Sunday, watch this. Of course, we're going to cover it as we always do on Monday for the next steps. If we test a resistance, we look down. We're going to see, okay, now where is our support, where we're going to test it for support. If we close above, now we look above and find the resistance and make a decision at that point. Do we enter for the short term, not the long term? On Monday, we will give you that update. But at least it gives you an exciting weekend to look forward to, guys.
That's right. You can have anxiety attacks over the weekend. It'll be fun.
The dollar cost, do not change your dollar cost average.
That's right.
Most of us do it on Fridays. You can't go wrong entering into an asset. DCA Friday. There you are. This is it.
Do it.
Not
financial advice, but it's proven. It works over time. So
yes,
you're not getting the highest highs, not getting the lowest lows, and you're also not playing yourself. And that's your biggest risk, honestly. Your biggest risk is you being like, I don't know what's going to happen, and just like selling your position.
Correct. And this works for gold, for any asset you believe in, you've done your research on. DCA is the safest way to enter.
That's absolutely the case. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Indo, I see you, man. Happy Friday,
good
brother.
Good morning.
Boston.
Good morning. And Just Bossy.
And the Queen. What's up, Just Bossy?
Good morning.
What up? So I hope everyone's having a solid Friday. Also, if you haven't said what's up in the chat, just say what's up. We'll give you a shout out. Our first story for the day, shall we? You know, what are we going to start off with? You know, maybe we'll start off with more boring stuff that you love. So, so FDIC denies report signature bank purchaser must divest crypto. So Reuters reported the FDIC wanted signatures buyers to give up the bank's crypto activities. And this exact thing is kind of what I'm concerned about. The traditional, not even markets, more the regulators, basically violating the, rights of people in crypto. A lot of people are in crypto because they want some levels of, self-ownership. They want privacy too. And so, of course, there's some element of like know your customer on certain levels, but I really don't like how heavy-handed they are about like, give us your activity logs. And that's kind of what this is about here. So the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation denied it would require any purchaser of Signature Bank to divest its crypto activities. The FDIC responded to a Wednesday Reuters report, which said any buyer of Signature must agree to give up all the crypto business at the bank. Citing two unnamed sources. An FDIC spokesperson denied this to Reuters. An FDIC spokesperson said in an email that the receivership does not end until the bank's assets are sold and all the claims against the bank are addressed, and the acquirer decides the conditions of their bid. The acquirer will tell the FDIC what assets and liabilities from the failed bank it is willing to take, the spokesperson said, citing the agency's resolution handbook. The spokesperson also referred CoinDesk to two joint statements published by FDIC office of the comptroller of the currency of the Federal Reserve, one of which states that banks are neither prohibited nor discouraged from providing services to any sector. Gotcha. Reuters reported that an FDIC spokesperson told the news service that the agency would not require divestiture of crypto activities as part of any sale. Well, we're going to hold you to that, yeah. Signature was seized over the weekend by New York Department of Financial Services and turned over to the FDIC. I also love the offensiveness of that abbreviation, like what's on your mind,
Yeah.
while signature board member of Barney Frank of Dodd-Frank Act claimed it was a political move, possibly caused by anti-crypto sentiment. NYDFS spokesperson said in a statement that the regulators had lost confidence in the bank's leadership after a bank run last Friday and a lack of reliable information over the weekend. The FDIC is now looking to auction Signature and Silicon Valley Bank, another bank seized by the state regulator last week, possibly by the end of this week. Well, here be the end of this week, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. So,
So,
what's your
yeah,
take on that, Jaime? Yeah.
it's fucked, really. Remember how we've been mentioning that this was a targeted event? Clearly, like the failures that just transpired, Silverbank, Silicon Valley. Good morning, Henry Schenk, and all these failures. Now, all of a sudden, the ones that are salvaged, the others they let die, and
Right.
they were
Yep.
involved with crypto. And then now, Signature, which is probably too big to fail, or too important because it's affecting people beyond crypto. Now they're trying to salvage that one, yet they're saying do not support crypto. In other words, get rid of that portfolio or wallet of business. Get rid of it. So clearly there was intent by the feds, and we're saying it here is in July we're supposed to be seeing the CBDC launched by the U.S. government, the Fed pay. And that is going to control. That is pure and total control of the market, the people, and what they're doing.
Yep.
Now they can tell people do not do crypto. When they launch the CBDC, they can enforce people not to touch crypto because they can yank a CBDC from anybody's wallet. And if they see that transaction, yank. So it's a dangerous time we are entering. People are not seeing, the common people do not understand this meaning right here of what's going on. So please keep your eyes open. This is not a good move. Thankfully, there are other politicians that are saying, guys, we got to slow this down. We're actually killing innovation. But this FDIC thing, it's not good.
Yeah, we have a big handful actually in the United States. There's quite a bit of our Senate, House of Representatives, governors even, who are like, this is not pro liberty at all, and
No.
it's okay for CBDCs to exist, but you can't enforce them. Like you have to put parameters on that. You have to put a leash on your dog, right?
Yep.
Your dog just can't come and take a dump in my yard. You can't do that, So, and if you do, you better pick it up and
Yes.
eat it in front of me as a shame and a payment to me, right?
Good luck with the enforcement.
Yeah. Gotcha. Would you like a sandwich, sir? I'm so bad. I'm
Damn.
sorry.
So,
anyway,
yeah.
we can't play these games is the point, right? Like,
Yes.
we have to let people know we're pissed. We're not going to play this game. You're not going to rug pull us and make us mint our own blockchain shackles. You're not going to do that again.
So you got to watch this. These are the clear signs that the feds are not happy with it. And if you notice, politically, they are, I mean, if you listen and look at what the presidents and the directors of these banks were doing, well, they did do one bad thing. They were selling their shares right before the turmoil, but who wouldn't, looking at, if the feds are telling you you cannot do this, and they're like, but our books are healthy, our books are good, there is no reason, and that's the risk. The government knows this this form of banking, which is the fractional reserves, is there. It's easy to unravel. Just create lack of trust and people will create a bank run on it. Well, they were pointing to these specific banks, and sure enough, no bank can resist, and especially if the feds are on top of them saying you got to kill it. they are going to unravel. And so they did. But a lot of them are saying, guys, look at our books. We were good. We were complying. We were great. And there's a fantastic event that occurred yesterday between Janet Yellen, which is part of the feds, and one of the senators of Oklahoma, who were asking, hey, man, this FDIC insurance is going to cover the big banks,
Yeah.
not the community banks and everyone else. Those guys are shit out of luck, is what the message is implied. It's not explicitly, but it's implied. But that senator did fantastic. I'll find that link and I'll put it in our chat so you can watch it. But you can see that these moves are targeted, and the big banks, the ones that the government deemed too big to fail, are the ones that the community banks are going to have to send their funds to. So in the end, that's why Bitcoin's pumping, guys. It's because now you see all this dirty shit going on the financials where they're protecting their homies and killing the community banks and the crypto banks. It's not a good sign. This is why Bitcoin was invented. This was the trigger that pushed Satoshi Nakamoto and all the cypherpunks to launch Bitcoin. It was this type of dirty movements protecting the good old boys against everybody else in the world with the financials. Protect the elite and the homies at the expense of everybody else. So Bitcoin is pumping. What concerns me, and I'm of the type that if you look at the charts, I can tell you the news. That's my concern right now, is we're reaching that top of the channel with a massive resistance. I'm wondering what's the next step. We will find out soon enough because we're there. Now it's a matter of, will we break through or will we come back down? And it's going to depend, or they're going to pin it on these news.
Exactly. And this is a picture of those bankers and politicians we're talking about who are trying to take over the whole space. You know, like they are the mafia. You must understand that. Like they are specifically trying to keep you from selling your goods on their block because it's their territory. And that's functionally what's happening under the hood here. So we just can't play their games. We have to stand by, you know, our politicians who actually do represent us and make sure that they freaking know they better represent us, right? Yes. We do so peacefully. We do so through due process, but make sure you let your voice be heard. Yeah. Now, super fun article. I know that was seemingly boring, and then we talked about it like, oh crap, that's serious.
Yeah,
you know,
nice.
Yeah, it's really easy just to look at the headline and not really know what it's implying. But
and before you jump to it, Henry, I'll address your statement on the 3-day Gaussian channel. It is bullish, and I can deep dive into it. We'll finish these articles and we'll jump into it, Henry. I appreciate that though.
Yeah. Thanks there, guy. I clicked the wrong button, so I'm looking for my link again. So you can just tell me shame, and it's fine.
Then I can answer. Meanwhile, you find it. I can answer Henry's statement. Okay, so Henry, here it goes. So let me jump to the Gaussian channel. So everyone can see what Henry is referring to. So this is the Gaussian channel we're looking at. Usually I work on it on the 5-day, but I brought it down to the 3-day. And what Henry's referring to, guys, is this thing. You can see in the past how Bitcoin follows or tends to bounce and also reject off of the Gaussian channel. Once we enter it, we can come down to certain levels. If you notice it can break down way below, but you can see certain moments of resistance, bounces, break out of the Gaussian channel, and then falls back in. And if you notice, that median is really important. You can see a lot of the tops and bottoms also. So and I'm just showing for everyone's benefit, how it tends to find resistance. It'll come down, broke down below during the last bull run, tried to cross it again, couldn't do it again, finally hit that median, and then gave up all the way down to where this was the let's see, this was the Luna collapse over here, and
Luna
this
poo poo.
Luna Pupu, and this was the FTX collapse down here. We've come straight above it, hovered in this region as support for a few minutes, and then continued above the Gaussian channel. Tested as support, came back down, tested the median as support, and now this is what Henry is referring to. This nice, healthy bounce straight back up. The big question is, and this is bullish, guys, this shows strength on Bitcoin's behalf. What we don't want to forget is this resistance we're at currently. And there are three nice moves or bursts upwards. If we move to the 5-day, I like the higher the time frame, the harder it is to cheat. We are currently at that resistance point of it, of the 5-day. I just moved it up the 5-day Gaussian channel. This is where we have to watch closely, and what we're watching over the weekends. If we can close above it and stay above it, we're good, guys. We just healthily broke through, which shows strength in the macro picture of Bitcoin. It shows it is not someone that we can just shove around. This shows that we're up at that resistance point. Will we break it? Well, we have 4 days before this candle closes on the 5-day. On the 3-day, yes, we've broken above it, but remember, we are at that resistance at this very moment. Never long resistance. Please remember that. But Henry, you're right. This is a very bullish sign, because now all we have to do is come down and test it to confirm as support, and we move on from here. On the 5-day, which is longer term, we need to break it to confirm. If not, we just come back down to the median at 22,900, test as support, and now we can reattempt that rise again. We will see. But these are good times. So overall, we're not at the point too long. We're at the point to either maybe enter a short, which to me is, I don't do that. I just go either long or cash, or we just stay in cash and watch for confirmation. We look for confirmation for the next steps. So that's it. If you have any other questions, please post them on the chat, and we can continue moving on. But Henry,
Yeah,
and you're right, Henry, only one fake out in 2015 to retest the low. And a lot of people and a lot of the advanced traders out there are also call that out, that there was one fake out. And that's what we have to watch for at this very moment, which means it's a very reliable indicator. We just need to not be faked out ourselves. So if we get that confirmation, we're good. And Henry, I'm with you on that. So please join us every time, and we'd love to have these conversations with you. It helps everybody in the community.
Yeah. And DCTV is a community of people, so you are part of it. Please know that when you interact in the chat here, you are part of the show, and
yes,
we are very grateful to be clicked up with people who have vision. So next thing we're talking about is our headliner. BlockSec prevents $5 million from being stolen on Paris space. Like, the hackers got pwned. That's what this means here.
Nice.
Gotcha. So and also every single hacker uses a laptop and 3 monitors and a keyboard off to the side. It's a rule. It's how it works. They never have a different setup than that. Yeah, and they always wear hoodies and they always have their hoods up. It's a fact.
Of course.
So yeah, BlockSec, a smart contract audit firm, prevented a hacker from stealing 2,900 Ethereum, which is $5 million at the current time, from NFT lending project Paraspace amid a major vulnerability. Yow. Nice job, SEC guys here. That's super nice. That's nice on Rice. I see you. BlockSec detected a hack in real time and rescued the funds. How badass is that? Like, these guys are actually monitoring and they noticed what was happening and they like addressed it in flight. That's like Submission Impossible level cool. So after the perpetrator was unable to execute the attack amid low gas fees, Blocksec carried out the attack as a white hat and took control of 2,900 Ethereum, which is $5 million worth of assets from Paraspace. The firm said it had notified Paraspace regarding their return. We monitored and observed the failed transaction. Meanwhile, we redeploy the hacker's contract with some upgrades to do the rescue. Matthew Zhang, director of security services at Blocksec, told The Block. Paraspace said in a Twitter post it had paused its lending protocol and was investigating the issue. It added that NFT assets deposited to the platform were safe. Your funds are Safu. Stay Safu. Blocksec thwarts theft using its real-time monitoring system. The vulnerability in Paraspace's lending contracts could have allowed the attacker to borrow crypto tokens with less NFT collateral than needed, which may have allowed the hacker to drain its liquidity. On Paraspace, the loan collateral's balance could be manipulated by the attacker, Zhang further noted. Blocksec added that it was able to thwart the hack using an internal system that detects hacking incidents in real time. We have an internal system that is able to monitor attack transactions. So that's how they caught it. They have a really nice monitoring system. So if you are in InfoSec, this should be a wake up to you that like you should have a dope monitoring system. And this is even true like with people with bank accounts. Like you should have some monitoring on your bank account. Like if someone signs into your bank's like web portal, you should get a text message. You can set that up on a lot of banks. And so I encourage a lot of people to set up monitoring and notifications where they can.
This and it's what a great, that means they have a knock. They have a team dedicated to watching any anomalies and reacting immediately to it. This is beautiful.
Yeah, this is super dope. We have an internal system that is able to monitor attack transactions and try to prevent them automatically, said Li Wu, co-founder and CTO of Blocksec. After the incident, the hacker left an on-chain message requesting Blocksec return gas fees. Oh, yeah. The hacker asked to get gas fees returned. How funny is that? Look, Grandma, I know I stole your wallet, but can I still have a cookie? About 0.7 ETH, the person spent in trying to hack Paraspace. I couldn't make it work because of a stupid gas estimation error. That's what he's complaining about. What the heck? Since I lost a lot of money trying to make it work, it would be cool to get at least some of that back. Best of luck, the hacker wrote. Who is the like? Why? Look, I know I broke your window and was trying to steal your things, but like, I got a cut on my finger. Could you?
Can you give me a Band-Aid, bro?
This was not the firm. This is exactly what that was, though. This was not the first time Blocksec has leveraged its internal system to save funds for projects. Blocksec was able to rescue $3.8 million from the exploiters of Saddle Finance in April 2022. In February, it recovered $2.4 million from Platypus Financial hackers. Paraspace did not immediately respond to a request for comment, which is it's probably a good idea. Sam Bankman-Fried would do it, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So, yeah. So a little touchback too. Jaime put in the chat here. The Senator Langford from Oklahoma interacted with the Treasury Secretary on protecting the big banks versus community banks. So
yes,
the link posted stupid, so you're gonna have to concatenate it, but that's on you.
Yeah. Well, that's why I reposted just the link right below it. So my apologies on that. I didn't know it would do that.
It's all good. Yeah, it does like so. Indo, by the way, he does some other security stuff inside of crypto. He works for a company called Rug Pull Finder, and they specifically look for NFT projects that are smelling like a fish, and he lets people know not a good deal. Get the hell out. So, yeah, bro. Game recognized game, right? So, yeah, crazy story. Our next story here. The U.S. crunch means it's time to buy gold and Bitcoin, says Novogratz. So, I love gold. The Galaxy Digital CEO predicts tough times ahead for the United States economy, but continues to be bullish on crypto. Imagine that. You mean you can't print money infinitely and have things be okie dokie. You can't shut down the economy for 2 years and expect that not to have a repercussion. Oh no, really? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems that there's going to be a mega trend for gold up coming up soon, which of course crypto. I have both, but crypto I feel is safer because I can get past. It's portable versus gold is
yeah.
not.
Well, gold is, but you have to put it in your prison pocket, so no one likes that. So the United States is headed for a credit crunch. Whamp whamp. You can't spend money you don't have. Imagine that. And now is the right time to buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin, says Galaxy Digital founder and CEO Michael Novogratz. And here he is, being a gentleman and a scholar. We are going to have a credit crunch in the United States and globally. So it's not just a US thing. Because imagine that, the whole entire global economy, for the most part, shut down for 2 years as a COVID response. So, like, yeah, we have to pay the piper. It's going to happen. Like, imagine that. Novogratz said in an interview on CNBC, you want to be long gold and silver, and if you want to be long Bitcoin. That's probably good advice here. But again, not financial advice from us. It's from him. So if you want to sue him, do your thing. Speaking on CNBC's Squawk Box, which is a stupid name, by the way, on March 15th, Novogratz noted that banks typically rebuild capital by spending or by lending less, meaning the credit crunch is imminent. It is, noting that indicators like commodities market are already pointing to a recession. Yeah. In 2008, by the way, we never went through the recession. We kicked the can down the road, and we're just finding the can on the road again because it was never resolved. Bitcoin was created to address the fact that it wasn't resolved. Banks were bailed out. The automotive companies were bailed out, and so if they're too big to fail, Bitcoin was like, well, we got to create. Or Satoshi Nakamoto was like, we got to create something to prevent this from happening again, so people can actually protect themselves from too big to fail attempts, right? So the U.S. banking industry fell into turmoil this month, with Silvergate Bank, Signature Bank, and Silicon Valley Bank all collapsing in the same week. Moody's downgraded the U.S. banking system outlook to negative. Well, that's negative to hear that. Novogratz told CNBC that a reversal in interest rate policy was in the cards, saying that while the Federal Reserve would like to do a dovish hike just for credibility's sake, doing so would be a huge policy error. But we can just keep printing money infinitely, right, guys? We can just keep doing that. There's no consequence. Wrong number. Alongside his prediction of tough times for the U.S. economy, Novogratz expressed a bullish sentiment for crypto. Imagine that. You mean something that you don't inflate into perpetuity is actually worth something? Imagine that. Yeah. If there was ever a time to be in Bitcoin and crypto, this is why it was created. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Let's go. In that governments print too much money whenever the pain gets too great, and we're seeing that. That is the most actually awake statement, not woke, awake statement that was ever said right there. Bitcoin was created specifically to prevent issues created by the government just basically printing money to solve their problems, right? And anyone who's into economics knows that Carl Menger and Ludwig von Mises, they all covered this exact concept. They're like, we can't just keep printing money and pretending that our problems go away, right? That's sweeping the problem under the rug. You're basically stealing a little bit from everyone by inflating their currency, right? Mm-hmm. So the price of Bitcoin dipped after the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank last week, but managed to reach new 2023 highs of $26,500 on March 14th, according to Coin Market Cap. Looks like Bitcoin's moving on from its risk asset days, and I kind of think we're flirting with that line. And that's exactly why we've been saying we believe everyone who's here on this show right now is the last class of the early adopters. Everyone after this is going to be early majority, meaning the Bitcoin asset is moving from a risky asset into being more understood and having more, defined patterns that it follows, and people have confidence it's going to follow those patterns, right? Uh, we actually have history on our Bitcoin price now, and that really informs what continues to happen. That's why the stock market is more and more predictable than the crypto market, because crypto market has very short history and it's a speculative asset, right? And so people are typically raising the price or lowering the price based on development that comes out, or based on regulatory clarity that comes out or doesn't, right?
Mm-hmm. And in
Or
the current market conditions,
Mhm.
we've said it 1,000 times, and I've lived through those scenarios where inflation was so bad that even cryptos drop, specifically Bitcoin's drop from the highs to now, which I think capped out at 68%, is not. I mean, Argentina just printed over 100%, 70 inflation, so they lost even worse than if they would have held Bitcoin. And there's quite a few people in Argentina that held Bitcoin, and they're up a good percentage points above the rest of their comrades or citizens,
They're not
community
comrades
members.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love you, Argentina. I see you.
so you can see that Bitcoin is a good hedge. And if the United States ever enters that hyperinflation, remember, when the United States sneezes, the rest of the world gets a cold. So that
Or
if
COVID.
or COVID, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's if the United States, the dollar ever hits that inflation, Jesus, I don't know what will happen to the rest of the world. So Bitcoin is a good hedge
Yeah.
towards the future.
And I don't mean to be pessimistic, but it feels like that's by design too. And what Van Heerden is saying here is it looks like Bitcoin's moving on from its risk asset days as more and more people begin to understand its fundamental value case. The market is slowly turning to Bitcoin as a digital form of gold. And I think that at some point it really will kind of hold that capacity. Like
It does
the
to me.
function Bitcoin serves is truly a store of value, right? It is the finest store of monetary value. And over the long run, it's going to prove that.
Yep. And that's why we're DCAing and, into it.
Yeah. So, super interesting article there. Our next setup here is Uniswap officially expands exchange services to the BNB chain. That's Binance, right? So let's read here. So Uniswap, the world's largest decentralized exchange protocol by trade volume, so this is a DEX, right, has officially launched on BNB chain. So Binance Chain now has a decentralized exchange. A decentralized Ethereum virtual machine compatible smart contract blockchain initially founded by crypto exchange Binance. The move comes from a successful governance proposal in February to deploy on BNB chain and contentious governance deliberations to decide on a bridge solution for the deployment. With this expansion, Uniswap protocol users will be able to leverage BNB's chain low transaction fees compared with Ethereum. And even so, right now is ETH Denver, the Ethereum Denver conference. They have been talking about that specifically. Like they know what the limitations are on Ethereum, and they know that it's getting in the way of Ethereum leading the space. And so where Ethereum is leading the space in R&D, they're not necessarily leading the space in like best user experience, right? So they're aware of that. And so this is another example of like BNB kind of eating their lunch because they just provide a better user experience, right? So lower fees. So compared with Ethereum, to trade and swap tokens across the network. With BNB's chain thriving in dedicated community scalability and accessibility, it is a launchpad for all things Web3. And Binance is crushing it with that, by the way. Where protocols looking to reach larger audiences can grow, said Alvin Khan, Director of Growth at BNB Chain. We are delighted to see Uniswap's continued commitment to delivering value to its users and building for the future of decentralization. In February, a governance proposal by 0x Plasma Labs to deploy Uniswap v3 on BNB Chain passed with more than 55 million Uni token holders voting in favor. 0x Plasma Labs stated at the time that Uniswap could look to capture 50% of PancakeSwap's market share. That's very interesting. And why, should we ask, do they think that PancakeSwap is going to lose 50%? What does PancakeSwap run on? Is it Ethereum?
No.
Yeah, it is.
No, BNB.
Okay. So those are both on BNB, you say?
PancakeSwap is on BNB
Yeah.
chain.
Interesting. So Plasma stated, I'm just trying to figure out why they're saying that they're going to steal it. So
a Pancake took off under BNB.
right.
Uniswap is jumping into BNB, so they're deploying it, and that's why they're saying, "Oh, we're going to take Pancake, who's dominated the BNB chain. Now they're going to take it."
Yeah, interesting. PancakeSwap is leading the centralized exchange on BNB chain with 2.5 billion in total volume locked. Uniswap's deployment on the BNB chain means it can capture a larger share of the decentralized exchange niche and marks a significant step towards increasing accessibility and liquidity for its users. Wormhole was chosen as the protocol's designated bridge to BNB chain in a contentious governance vote, helping users transfer assets from Ethereum mainnet to BNB chain. So, got it. So they're transferring things from Ethereum to BNB, but that's specifically for Wormhole. Got it. The vote pitted two of the space's most active venture firms.
Andreessen Horowitz.
Well, say it fast though.
Andreessen Horowitz.
Andreessen Horowitz and Gem Crypto against each other. Venture firm A16Z put its considerable uni holdings to use by voting against the proposal to pick Wormhole, which is also what Sam Bankman-Fried uses to carry his gold. He uses his Wormhole.
It's not warm. It's cold hole.
I didn't say worm. I said worm. That's bad. Shame on us. Don't go there.
It's a gaping hole, bro. How do you miss it?
My favorite level in the first Halo game is the Maw. Yikes. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, what's your take on this here article here, Jaime?
So, in other words, Uniswap has done well on the Ethereum chain, and the fact that they're actually now expanding onto BNB, because PancakeSwap, so 1inch and Uniswap were on the Ethereum, and so everything to do with DeFi, they pretty much dominated on the Ethereum chain. And then PancakeSwap was launched to compete against them, but specifically on the BNB chain. So the fact that now Uniswap is jumping onto expanding onto BNB, that's why they're so sure they're going to be able to take so much, because they already have access to the majority of the tokens, and now by jumping on BNB, they're now going to have access. People who use Uniswap can now exchange from the Ethereum to the BNB chain tokens that are built on those two different platforms. So 0x is a liquidity provider that has access to both chains. So that's why this forecast of them dominating and taking 50% of PancakeSwap market dominance on the BNB chain is possible. It's because it's like a massive bank coming in where a community bank was dominating. So
yeah,
that's pretty much what's happening here.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so funny. I like, because I don't do a ton of token stuff, I'm so focused on like the infrastructure server stuff. Yeah. My brain totally just assumed PancakeSwap was at ERC20, but it's not. It's Binance Smart Chain.
Yes, so, precisely.
So thank you so much for correcting me on that. I just
it's our job. Teamwork.
Yeah.
Makes our dream work.
It was in my pocket. You understand? I'm not a professional shitcoin trader, so it's not my. You know.
I just try to keep the press, sir.
No disrespect. So Crypto Counsel John Deaton sums up what will happen if the SEC prevails in the Ripple Nipple XRP legal brawl against Ripple. Although he strongly believes the resolution of Ripple's lawsuit with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission will be in favor of XRP, vocal crypto advocate John E. Deaton has hinted at what might happen if the security watchdog wins. This will happen if the SEC wins. Can Ripple pull off a win against the SEC? Ripple has notched several procedural victories that have led XRP enthusiasts to believe that Ripple may win the 2-year legal battle. But if things don't go as expected, and the presiding judge, Annalisa Torres, buys into the SEC's assertion that all XRP transactions, including those conducted on secondary markets, are securities, the commission's victory would spell trouble for many crypto-focused companies. This is according to John Deaton. Deaton observed that a positive outcome for the SEC would embolden if Chair Gary Gensler would embolden Chair Gary Gensler by giving him both the cover he needs as well as the momentum to lodge similar suits against companies operating within the digital asset space. So I'm just saying, Gary Gensler, if you come for our lunch here, my guy, you're going to find some resistance. People are not going to go along with bad policy. They won't do it. They will appeal to higher courts. The XRP's lawyer comments were in response to a tweet from Fox Business journalist Eleanor Terrett, who shared some insights about the recent shutdown of Signature Bank. Notably, little explanation was given as the New York Department of Financial Services announced it would be shuttering Signature on Sunday. Terrett cited ex-Congressman Barney Frank, who savvily indicated that it was a calculated move to send an anti-crypto message. We've covered that already. Because we covered this Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Imagine that. XRP poised for big price movement on Ripple Nipple's legal win prospect. Ripple is one of the titans of the cryptocurrency industry, with 3 nipples in the United States. I'm bad. I'm sorry. Creating real world. You got issues. I do. Lord help me. Creating real world products from a revolutionary technology. In December 2020, the SEC dropped the bomb on the, what's that word? Burgeoning. like why would you pick that specific word for this? Yeah.
Well, it's like engorging.
Yeah, right. It means growing,
thickening,
or developing quickly. Yeah. It's burgeoning. Burgeoning. Stupid word. Don't use that kind of crap. Z Crypto. I see you. By suing the company and 2 of its top executives for raising over $1.3 billion via the sale and distribution of XRP cryptocurrency without registering. The central question in the lawsuit is whether XRP is a security, and the eventual court hearing will determine the fate of the token. Most pundits in the crypto sphere agree Ripple so far has the edge in the long-running court battle. The SEC, meanwhile, suffered a setback of its own last month when court refused to strike Ripple's key fair notice defense. The judge's decision, expected to arrive in June, will likely prove a turning point for XRP and a broader crypto industry. That said, XRP could make a run for $1 if Ripple wins. Hey, Jaime,
yes,
what also happens this summer sometime?
There's quite a few things that happen. There was another case. June is an important month in our. God damn it! You caught me. I know
June also rhymes with something else that starts with an M. What's that M word that June rhymes with?
You think we're mooning? Moon?
I think it's moon. Coincidence?
So, to stay on point with what this article. So here's the risk, guys. XRP. I mean, if you back up and look at XRP, began as a business from a business standpoint, not necessarily. They're trying to apply technology into the business, and they were specifically targeting banks the Swift payment system. And they entered saying this technology, this blockchain technology, will expedite fucking everything. And now you can see finally the feds with the Fed coin in June, that's supposed to launch in June, CBDC, is the actual execution of that. So you can see why government and central banks and everyone are trying to hack away at the entire crypto industry that created this freaking technology so they can dominate and shove their benefits into the community and the world. So XRP, here's one what they're fighting, and thankfully this judge is seeing past that. But they're saying, "Hey, man, you guys started this whole thing as an investment, and you deployed these coins as an investment, right? A way to raise capital, but they had not received fair due notice. Where the SEC says, "Hey, man." You're doing this, be careful. No, instead, they just went straight out for a lawsuit. And that's where the judge is like, hey, where's the due process here? And that's, it may be on a technicality that XRP gets, which is good for the entire community, but gives a chance for builders to be like, all right, guys, now that we know where the lines are drawn between security and in a token, for example, now let's start building under that playing field. But there was no due diligence. There was no due process done. And that's we're hoping that the courts see that.
Yeah.
When in June, now here's the thing. If it doesn't work out, if it goes against Ripple in June, we now have the Supreme Court as the next level. So it does buy time. But there are quite a few things happening between now and June where we could maybe take a shit and then by June take off, or rally and then by June come down. We don't know. And we just watch the market and decide.
So as a long-term miner, what I can tell you is that Bitcoin and Litecoin do drive the space. And Litecoin isn't particularly special. It just happened to come out really early on in crypto's history. So
and they
Litecoin go ahead.
And any software updates to Bitcoin is usually tested on Litecoin. Litecoin is the lighter version.
Yeah, it's a test net, right? And so do note here that Bitcoin, you see how Bitcoin's halving is 2024. Well, Litecoin's halving is 2023, right? And so at the end of June comes July, and this year Litecoin has a halving in 135 days. So what is going to coincide is if this Ripple case does have some clarity that comes out in June, that will be in the shadow of the obelisk that is the Litecoin halving as well. And so whenever Bitcoin has a halving, there's usually a rally up to the halving. It usually takes a little bit of the dip when the halving happens, then it rallies again. That's consistently what we've seen. And Jaime has that big S-curve chart for Bitcoin where you can see how those halvings function. But Litecoin kind of does the same thing, but staggered, a year. And so, because Litecoin's halvings, mind you, going back to this chart here, you can see Litecoin has a halving July 2023, and next year, April 2024, Bitcoin's halving is. And so those are every 4 years. They're staggered, but basically we have like 1 year with a Litecoin pump, 1 year with a Bitcoin pump, and then 2 quiet years that don't really matter where consolidation tends to happen. And then it repeats that process. So mind you, that does drive the markets. Also, Litecoin is directly tied to Dogecoin, right? Because they're both on the script algorithm. So people who are mining Litecoin do what's called dual mining. They submit their script, hash to both Litecoin and Dogecoin. And so they have big wads of Litecoin and Dogecoin. And so whenever Litecoin pumps, I personally expect to see Dogecoin pump. It's not financial advice, but I've seen that tend to happen. And it's because people are taking advantage of the halving, which creates scarcity. The demand stays the same, but the supply decreases. And so that naturally creates a mechanism that increases the value of the asset, right? Because even if demand doesn't increase, if demand stays fixed, if supply decreases, the price goes up. But if demand does increase as well, price goes up even more. So I want everyone to think a little bit like a miner here and there, and see that does drive the general price, because these dudes are sitting on huge bags and they're just slogging through a bear market, just holding, just trying to keep the lights on, trying to sell as little crypto as they can to just stay alive, so that once they're out of that bear market, they still have something to show for it, right?
Precisely.
So that's what I was thinking, Jaime, when I asked. I was like, Litecoin has a halving here, and so that's gonna coincide with that event we talked about with Ripple coming down in June. Right around that time, I think those are probably going to converge and create some price action.
So it creates a gap of time between now and then for Bitcoin and everyone to solidify this foundation of the bottom. As soon as that solidifies, these events, these announcements should coincide with the rise, because usually Litecoin is like a leading indicator, call it, because they have that having before. Whatever Litecoin does, it's usually a sign of what could happen with Bitcoin once they hit it the following year. So it's interesting time, guys. This is the time to be paying attention, not when everyone's waiting for the bull market to pay attention. Now's the time to enter your chips, set your chips up to make the changes and grow.
Yeah, you can lock in some nasty positions right now, I'll say that. So do what you're gonna do. That's our show for today, though. I hope that was exciting for everyone. We had some pretty interesting conversations, in my opinion. It is DCA Friday, so make sure that you do DCA if you do that, unless you like playing yourself, in which case, do your thing. Until next time, I'm the Data Lord. This is Jaime.
I'm Jaime.
We love you.
Pleasure.
We love you dearly.
We do
if you're
this for you guys.
If you're interested in getting involved with our community, though, we have a Discord link in the description. Go ahead and get involved in there. Ask us questions. This is an active community, and we really are trying to foster a community of people who are all kind of co-building, watching each other six, and really building meaningful value in the space here. So get involved. Also, we love memes. So
release them, create them, share them.
You can meme us if you'd like. Until next time, keep calm and huddle on. We'll see you on Monday.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Take care, guys. You have a disturbing way of doing things.
Why are you still here? The show's over. Go on.
Get out
of here.
Get out.
See you later. Have a good weekend. Be good, be safe, be smart.
There you go.